It is a Football Friday. Welcome into Jock's three-man front. Pat Landrum, Conrad. Molly will be back with us on Monday. Our typical Friday fun day. Wimp Sanderson will join us at the bottom of the hour. Mike Rodak next hour. Peter Ratterkoos, who covers the Auburn Tigers, give us a preview of the big game coming up tomorrow night at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Kyle Parmley, as we wrap up the regular season for high school football. Playoffs begin next Friday, so Kyle will give us a breakdown and all the tiebreakers and all the fun stuff. That will be in the 1 o'clock hour. But we start this morning's program kind of like where we ended it yesterday. We kind of knew that Scott Woodward, Landrum, that he was on the endangered species list, and it became official last night as LSU says $6.5 million, no problem, we'll pay it. Go home, Scott. You're done. Scott Woodward out as AD at LSU.
Well, we heard the comments from the governor. I said it yesterday. If I'm Scott Woodward, I'm walking into somebody's office and saying, why do you need me here? Just go ahead and pay me my money. Well, apparently that was the plan, and LSU is finding all kinds of money in the couch cushions now.
They sure are. I mean, first it was $53 million that everybody was griping and complaining about, and then all of a sudden now you're going to have to pay $6.5 million to get rid of the AD. So this is a $60 million investment in regards to changing of the guard at LSU, and that doesn't include the assistant coaches that will be shown the door. You got Blake Baker, who's like one of the highest paid coordinators in all of college. I was just making like $3 million a year at LSU. You got to pay him off. So yeah, this is getting really expensive. But
if you want to go dominoes, I would say new coach for one of the open jobs, and he takes that defensive coordinator job for that open coach. If you want to say, I mean, it could potentially be where he's still at LSU.
Yeah, could be. So interim AD is Verge Osbury. He is a longtime staff member there at LSU. He has stepped into the role now as interim athletics director. He had a press conference this morning, and this was one of his quotes that's going viral. It says, "We are going to hire the best football coach there is. We are not going to let this program fail. LSU has to be in the playoff every year in football." End of quote.
Verge sounds like he knows what time it is there in Baton Rouge. Guy that's loyal, knows where all the bodies are buried.
LSU
but he's
has
a team guy.
To be in the playoff every year in football.
He's a team guy. He's on board. Verge sounds like a name of stability at LSU. Well, it sounds like they're getting things together, Pat.
Well, the interim AD has now formed a search committee.
Yes.
Of about 6 to 8 board members and donors, plus himself.
I like the in-house, let's call a bunch of people that have a page in our football program, and let's see if they want a little something extra to do. I like that one better than the outsourcing.
Yeah, when you hire like the Parker Associates and those other people that
one of those groups.
Yeah.
Go in-house where you get a lot of differing opinions, and by the time it's all said and done, they're all trying to kill each other.
All right, matter of fact, what I just read you, let's hear the audio form. This is the interim athletics director at LSU, what he had to say about finding a new coach.
Next chapter is we have to hire a football coach. We're going to hire the best football coach there is. That's our jobs. We're going to go out there. We're not going to let this program fail. LSU has to be in the playoffs every year in football. There's 12 teams that make it. It's going to expand here. We have to be one of those at LSU. No substitute. We have to be talked about on ESPN, every channel. When you're talking about LSU football, that is the way.
All right. There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're being talked about on ESPN for all the wrong reasons right now.
Yeah. Right.
From Ryan Clark running his mouth and all the other people that's throwing darts at LSU right now.
It's gonna be really fun to watch this and just to see how it plays out, because you got a lot of different stuff going on there. I do think that LSU is going to end up with a good coach because it's such a good job. And nowadays, maybe if it's 3 years, get you that number that you're seeking, and then you can go and coach in the NFL. Maybe you want to go and start a charter school somewhere and coach high school football. Do whatever you want to do. Go with Coach O and what's her name? Brittany or Bridget or what? Whatever her
Bambi.
name is. Bambi. And work out
whatever her name is.
South Beach. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Well, you heard Scott Ballard a couple of days ago. Remember we played that clip where he's one of the supervisors on that board and he was asked about the board being able to name the next head football coach or go search for one. And he basically told a local television station, it's news to me. You know, that was right after the governor had given his big press conference. Well, let's hear from Scott Ballard again. He has some news about the Scott Woodward departure from LSU.
It was a joint decision. The board and Mr. Woodward had discussions, and it was a joint decision. Thought it was the best for both parties.
For some reason, I don't believe that, but
no. But after the statements we got from the governor, I feel like the working relationship was going to be a little bit tenuous moving forward. Just a little bit weird.
It was probably mutual in the standpoint of, well, you obviously don't want me here. I would like $6.8 million. So, yeah, get rid of me. Pay out my contract and I'll leave.
I mean, listen.
I think in that sense it was mutual.
I have covered some really dysfunctional athletic departments, especially at Auburn. Because anytime that Auburn had a coaching situation, my goodness gracious, go back to when they got rid of Terry Bowden.
Oh.
Back during the Bobby Petrino jet game. I mean, my goodness.
And nobody
gracious.
is arguing this point, Pat. Auburn fans are like, yeah, we remember.
Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy times, but I'm telling you what, this takes the cake. I mean, this is absolutely amazing what you're seeing.
Well, and also remember, we've had search committees at Auburn too, from former players, CEOs, successful people in business, and we have seen it where the committee decides on one candidate and then off somewhere else.
And all of a sudden,
you got two individuals that go ahead and hire somebody.
It's crazy. All right, one more cut from Scott Ballard, a member of the LSU Board of Supervisors, who will be part of the group that names the next head football coach at LSU. He talks about the contract, which is continuing to be debated. You had the governor. He went on Matt Moscona's radio show yesterday. He continues to beat the drum. He even tweeted out, the governor did. I don't know if you saw this. He tweeted out the first portion of Brian Kelly's contract. And he was talking about how, yes, we are on the hook. The taxpayer is on the hook because apparently his contract is with the Board of Supervisors, which is a state-run entity. You know, it's not like with Tigers Unlimited or whatever their entity is called, that their discretionary fund that all of their contracts are signed with. The governor is still saying that the taxpayers potentially could have to pay for this. Well, listen to what Scott Ballard had to say about the taxpayers paying for the $53 million buyout.
Well, let me make it clear. The governor had a right to be concerned, and we're working towards solutions. Everything's on the table. But let me make it clear. The state has never, and the taxpayers have never paid for a coach and never will. So.
Okay.
I will stand by what I said.
I mean, the governor has not backed down off of that one time.
You know, and that guy was trying to be so respectful and not embarrass the governor. But the way he started that, Conrad, can you play just the first part of that again? Anytime it starts with something like this, it's like, man, he's trying to be nice and make the other guy look good.
Well, let me make it clear. The governor had a right to be concerned.
He had a right to be concerned.
That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, so much so. Now, so who potentially could be next in regard, not coach, because a couple things got to happen here. Next week, they're going to name the president of McNeese. He is going to be the new president of LSU. Why? The guy from McNeese? Well, because he and the governor, they're boys. So they're going to hire him as the next LSU president. Well, who's going to be the new athletic director? A bunch of names from Louisiana has made the rounds. I believe it's the AD at Southeast Louisiana. He used to be the head baseball coach at Southeast Louisiana. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah,
there, by the
that's
way.
a good program.
He's done a really good job as an AD, and he basically knows how to take a nickel and make a dime. I mean, he's done a really good job down there. That's a name that you're hearing. Why not look at the AD at McNeese? Because why? Because the president of McNeese is about to become the president of LSU. So, you know, got a good working relationship. You bring him on to Baton Rouge. But here's a name that you need to keep your eye on. Mike Alford at Florida State.
Ooh.
if they're going to go outside of, I guess, the pecking order of the athletic directors in the state of Louisiana currently, if you go and look at the bio of Mike Alford, I believe he went to high school maybe in Acadia, Louisiana.
Yep.
He's got a little background in Louisiana. So if LSU really wants to go outside of that Cajun family that's currently in the state, maybe someone like the athletics director at Florida State that would really like to go somewhere where they have a budget. Heck, maybe they'll just make a tandem deal where they bring Mike Norvell and Alford from Tallahassee. Why don't they just do that?
Well, at this point with the governor and so far the moves that have been made, I mean, I think Alford, that'd be a great hire and kind of outside the box, but it sounds like next person might be coming from the state of Louisiana. If you're at Nichols, you're on the clock.
Yeah,
where's he going to go
absolutely.
next?
Yeah.
But I don't blame him for that.
Here's another thing. A lot of people's been texting me the last couple of days and be like, well, hold on a second. Say, what was the rub? What's the problem between the governor and the athletics director? Like what was the problem? And I know you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but this is what it stems from. When Will Wade had an opportunity, potentially he ended up at NC State, the governor wanted them to rehire Will Wade at LSU. Well, who fired Will Wade at LSU?
Scott Woodward.
Correct. So why would he even remotely consider bringing back the guy that they fired as the head coach? Well, this is what happened. One of the governor's big allies, big money guy, he is the one that wanted to bring Will Wade back. And Scott Woodward wouldn't even consider it. So that's when the bad blood began in the spring, because one of Landry's top allies wanted to do something in the athletic department. The AD didn't want to do it. So he goes and tells his ally, who happens to be the governor that runs the state and runs LSU athletics, that, hey, they're not even considering this.
I
And guess what? That's when enemies are made. And in the state of Louisiana, you don't do that. And you're seeing why, is because the governor's got his hit list apparently, and people will be systematically taken out of the administration that do not go along with his policies.
Well, first of all, I don't blame the governor for wanting Will Wade back, given everything that's happened with the NCAA and the transfer portal since the strong whatever offer was made, and they caught him on tape. But yeah, if you're Scott Woodward, that's probably not a guy that. I mean, you've got a job to do, but it sounds like almost your ego is bigger than your common sense when it comes to getting along and playing nice with others, especially the governor of the state that you work in.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a million times. It's completely different in the state of Alabama. Like what's going on in Louisiana can never happen in Alabama. It can't happen in Mississippi. It can't happen in Texas, because you've got multiple universities that carry a lot of weight. Now, I know over time, I'm sure people in Auburn will say Tuscaloosa controls this, or people in Tuscaloosa will say, well, the governor and other people in Montgomery, they're more, apt to do something for the eastern part of the state as opposed to the western side. I mean, I know those discussions happen all the time. That's just political. But for what's going on in Louisiana, you will not see that in Mississippi. You will not see it here in Alabama. You won't see it in Florida with multiple big schools. LSU is the flagship university in the state of Louisiana. So guess what? They pretty much can do whatever they want to do. Why do you think a few years ago when Alabama kept going into Louisiana and then Texas A&M started showing up and they started taking the top players out of that state, those people started going crazy to the point to where they were literally wanting to build a wall around the state of Louisiana to try to keep out Alabama and Texas A&M from coming in there to try to recruit kids. I mean, they were trying to pass laws. They were trying to do all sorts of things in the state of Louisiana because they felt like they were being attacked from the outside.
Well, but to LSU's advantage, they're so talent rich with so many great high school prospects that play football in that state. It was always so easy. Heck, look at University Lab or whatever they call it, Dylan Moses and so many others.
That's across the street from the university.
You have a 5-star, and I don't want to call it a football factory because I don't know if that's what it is, but you have a factory, basically a high school that produces highly touted national football prospects right there at your disposal. NIL, transfer portal, pay for play, that changed everything. That's how LSU built it, is keeping those guys. They just drew a line around the state and said, hey, don't worry, we don't want your guys, but we're going to keep them all right here.
Not to mention the fact the governor's mansion is literally 3 miles away from Tiger Stadium. I mean, he is right down the street. So believe me, he believes that he has every right to get involved in this. And by the way, every governor before Governor Landry, they have done the exact same thing. Maybe not to this public nature. A lot of these things happen behind closed doors. But my goodness gracious, after what took place on Saturday night, the last 5 days have been extremely entertaining.
It's going to sound crazy. People will look at this and they see dysfunction. I don't. I actually appreciate this.
Oh, I think they're scrambling.
I appreciate it.
You have 30 former players coming to talk to your team to keep.
Now that is ridiculous.
They're I'm sorry, they're scrambling.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but literally what Conrad's talking about, they like rallied the troops. Like they bring in, what was it, over 30?
It was I didn't count. It was a big picture. It was a lot.
Jacob Hester and all these people show up. I mean, it's like, let's sing We Are the World.
Did everybody
Kumbaya,
have a designated player for the day? Like, come on, let's talk.
They might have.
These are the 30 guys we need to keep.
I mean, it's like Brian Kelly was done wrong. I mean, Brian Kelly didn't win. Like, what?
Well, it's the same thing with the people defending Scott. He hired national championship women's basketball coach.
But
he missed on the football hire. That's all that matters.
Again, though, while you say it is a little bit ridiculous or a lot ridiculous to have 30 players that show up, I actually appreciate how everybody's just kind of rallying for their school. Now, it might end up being chicken you know what, but I appreciate it.
They love
It's
LSU.
rare. It's a very unique situation and culture that they have there.
But here's the thing.
I appreciate it.
That roster, whoever's left that's worth a darn is going to be gone. I mean, like you can't hold on to these people.
No.
I mean, that's what's so funny about in this day and age.
We're going to determine our next 5 years.
I don't remember when Nick Saban retired. I don't remember, and Antonio Langham and Humphrey and all the former Alabama players come like flying into Tuscaloosa because we've got to just wrap arms and we got to keep everybody together. That didn't happen. But LSU was doing it.
They're very vulnerable right now. Tiger Nation, they sense it.
Just rehire Orgeron and just bring him back. And,
Has James Carville gone to the campus yet to speak to the team?
James Carville is, of course, he's going to go after the Republican governor. He's
okay.
He's.
I wasn't even going political. I was just going.
No, he's going on TV and using every profanity that you can possibly have on MSNBC, and he's ripping the governor and everything else. So
they can have fun with that.
Well, it's just funny because you got the likes of Peter Burns and other people that obviously are LSU folks.
Yeah.
And I know they care about their alma mater, but I mean, come on. I mean, don't be just a little bit unbiased. Just a little bit. All right. We got things off and running on this Friday. When we come back.
Thank you, Greg Byrne.
Maybe, just maybe, one of the guys that is going to have to go in front of that supervisor board for a potential job, he looked like you know what last night in San Antonio. We'll get into that and a little bit of controversy between him and Coach Traylor. Oh, I love it. That's next on Three Man Front. We will get into the game in San Antonio last night. A lot of eyeballs watching John Sumrall and the Tulane Green Wave. A very good football team. They had a big game last night. We'll get into that against UTSA, including a little controversy between the two coaches, a little salty in the pre and post game.
Well, you can find salty things, savory things. You can find sweet things, but you can find a good time at our friends at the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South. This afternoon, you want to get in there, maybe knock off work a little bit early, enjoy happy hour. You can do that. You're going to have live acoustic music. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, you're going to have a live band that cranks up. Tomorrow, that's when all the fun begins. You got wall-to-wall football and the video boards, the screens throughout the place, the state-of-the-art sound system for the big games like you Auburn fans are going to be watching, or UAB versus UConn early on. They're going to turn those games up where you can actually hear the game there in-house, and the experience is incredible. Sunday, NFL fan groups get together. You just want to go and watch some NFL, enjoy some great food. You can do it there at the Finnick. And then Monday Night Football. They got Red Zone. They got Sunday Ticket. You got pool tables if you're into that. It's the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South. Check them out this weekend near Railroad Park.
So a lot of eyeballs last night as the Tulane Green Wave, very good football team. They were in San Antonio taking on the Roadrunners. We talked about the fact yesterday that the Roadrunners are incredible in the Alamo Dome against American Conference opponents. I'm talking conference games. They lost earlier this year at home to Texas State, but when you play interconference games, it's a very difficult place to play. Very tough.
I can tell you, we had been told about it before we went and played there a few years ago. I never imagined. They pump in sound, but I give the UTSA fans credit. What he has built that program into, they support their team. It gets loud in there. Loud.
Well, last night, former BYU quarterback Jake Retzloff, who is the starting quarterback for Tulane, he had a horrible night. He got benched by John Sumrall. He threw 2 interceptions. But Owen McCown for the Roadrunners, you know, when you only have 2 incompletions and you're 31 of 33 for 370 yards, 4 touchdowns, that's a really good night.
Pretty good.
Really good night. And you're talking about a team that got embarrassed in Denton, Texas the week before. They lost 55-17. 55-17 to North Texas the week before, and they come back and they put that type of performance against Tulane. So they win the game 48-26. It's the 22nd straight regular season conference victory at home for UTSA. That's the most points, the 48, that Tulane and John Sumrall has given up in 4 years. They also gave up 523 yards to UTSA. Now, I was unaware of this, but apparently earlier in the week, John Sumrall was doing his weekly stand-up with the media. Take a listen to what he had to say about practicing with crowd noise, and what Landrum was just referring to was the fact that potentially there is crowd noise being pumped into the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, we've practiced with crowd noise for a couple of days. Today was a walkthrough day, so we didn't. We'll have it back out tomorrow. I think they pipe some noise in. I think they do a good job. They do. If you watch like the European soccer or whatever, and they got those little sticks people bang, they got those things in the stadium. So they make some artificial noise, kind of like at Mississippi State you play. They got the cowbell. It's a way to create more noise. I think they may pipe some in through the speakers. I don't really know. I don't think it's legal. I don't think anybody's investigating it. We just got to be ready to deal with it. So we should be prepared for it, hopefully. But they have, I think that's helped them create a home field advantage for sure. It's been loud there for people.
So John Sumrall basically saying it was illegal, but nobody's been investigating. Well, needless to say.
Yeah, if he'd have left that out, he'd been okay.
Jeff Traylor was not very happy. And so one of the first questions in the postgame press conference was, hey, Coach, when you put the film on, what are you going to be able to see about why your team played so well against a very good Tulane team?
A team that felt extremely disrespected. A coach that said we've basically been cheating the last 6 years, which disrespects everything we've done in this place for 6 years, in my opinion. A quarterback that, for them, that disrespected us like unbelievable, mic'd up before the game. Some spoiled, rotten media, some fair weather fans, shut them up for a week. But the loyal ones, the true ones, that have been there since day one and always stay in there. That's who we play for. Them chirping birds we don't really give a crap about, but it's nice to shut them up for a week.
I think he was talking about probably the local media not taking too kindly about them getting embarrassed 55-17 in North Texas. They had 16,715 people there at the Alamo Dome last night. That was the smallest attendance that UTSA has had in quite some time. And you're playing a very good Tulane team, national television. It was a bad look for UTSA. Not a lot of people there.
Yeah, Jeff Traylor's done a really good job there. I think he's a really good football coach, but he sounds like a salty football coach. He sounds like a football coach that has been up for jobs, and for whatever reason, it hasn't happened, and now you're not seeing his name being bannered about when different jobs come open that you think he would be a perfect fit for. Sound a little salty there, and maybe just a tad of envy or jealousy, because John Sumrall has certainly been getting a lot of attention here in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's 100% jealousy. And I can understand from his standpoint, because, I mean, we've even talked about it in the last couple of weeks of, yeah, man, that Jeff Traylor, like, no one really brings his name up anymore. And, I mean, the reality is sometimes the time passes you by and you're left to be a Matt Campbell where your name's thrown around for a decade and you never get a better job or a better opportunity. So that's unfortunate for him, and he can have that moment over John Sumrall. But, yeah, he's 100% salty that John Sumrall's the talk of the town and potentially going to go and get a big fat contract at an SEC school, and Jeff Traylor's left with a fan base that doesn't really care about his program.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, you bring his name up, and we have to Arkansas folks, and it's never anything super negative, but they kind of dismiss it, and it's almost like that there's something more, but never get the full picture.
And what's so funny about that is if there is something more, and I'm not implying that there's anything in his
I know what you're about to say,
private life, but my gosh, you're ready to hand the keys back over to a man that embarrassed your university and, you know, cheated on his wife and all this kind of great stuff that he did back in the past, and you fired him, but now you're going to bring him back and just say, oh, bygones are bygones, no problem, come on back. But Jeff Traylor, no, that's just it's like you said, it's just odd. But anyway,
yeah, I will tell you that when we were leaving the Alamo Dome, I don't know if a lot of coaches do this, but they're parked in the one of the loading dock at the end, one of the end zones where trucks could back in for big events and stuff. But we were walking out as we were about to load the buses to head to the airport, and Jeff Traylor's, it was a very nice luxury car, convertible, was there parked. So I guess he just pulls right into the stadium. But he's got some flair to him, that's for sure. I thought he was going to get the Houston job, or maybe potentially be up for the Arkansas job, or a couple of others that have come up, and whatever reason it faded quick. So who knows? There's a lot that goes into what search firms do.
It was a big win last night, but I don't think there's a lot of 4-4 Group and 5 coaches that are going to get SEC job offers.
And we came up, we were 0 for 2 on both of our projections. Henry goes for less than his total, and Retzlaff looks like
poo-poo.
Yeah.
Poo.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. The other college game last night, Coastal Carolina, they knock off Marshall 44-27. When we come back, we'll talk to the O-ball coach, not Steve Spurrier.
Oh, man.
Wimp Sanderson.
Yes.
Yes. Wimp Sanderson joins us next with a blue plate here on Jocks. It's a Football Friday here on Jocks, three-man front. Each and every Friday, we get an opportunity to get a blue plate, talk a little sports with Wimp Sanderson, former Alabama basketball coach. Almost said football.
He could have done it. He coached baseball at Bama.
Yeah, he should have coached football. Might as well. I think he would have been better than Bill Curry. Well, let's ask Coach if he'd have been better than Bill Curry. Brought to you by Crane Works.
He wore his pants lower.
Yeah. When he wore the sweater?
No. Well, no.
You don't think so?
I ain't putting on a sweater.
Wimp Sanderson on Three-Man Front is brought to you by Crane Works. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dogs got it. And now, Wimp Sanderson.
Now a good scarf
Coach would wear a scarf?
with an overcoat going to see Sinatra back in the day,
Oh,
dressed
yeah.
to the nines, going out
yeah.
on the town. Yeah, I could see that. Coach Wimp Sanderson joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Hey, Coach.
Landrum, Bill Curry was good. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't you listen to these. You talk about tickets. They're undefeated. Won a bunch of games. Go to Auburn for the first time. Alabama had. I've said this before on the show, but we got some other listeners. For the first time, Alabama had ever been to Auburn to play, and the ticket was big, and they got beat 20-30. But Bill Curry didn't do that bad a job. I know he did a good job. I don't,
He wasn't Pat's favorite.
He gets knocked all the time. He's what?
He wasn't Pat's favorite.
He'd say
Well,
that.
I don't expect for him to be Pat's favorite.
Hey, just
You know,
because I
you
threw a
also-
brick
you're
through his office window, Coach, doesn't mean I didn't like
It's
him.
okay. He's
got a good
okay.
arm.
He's a good guy. He's great.
No,
I like him a
as a
great deal.
person, I think he's a fantastic person.
Highly intelligent
I think
individual.
he's done
I
okay.
respect him.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain something to you. While you're starting this crap, I'm flying into Birmingham. I'm hearing that Ray Perkins is going to leave.
Right. Go to Tampa.
I called Ray. I said, Ray, what's the deal? He said, I'm leaving. He said, you go to the president's house Sunday morning. I shouldn't tell this, but I will.
No, just tell it.
I said, okay, I'll go. So I go to the president's and talk to him. So I said, I want to get a hold of my basketball program because Ray was great to me. And so I get there, and he says, I'm not hiring Gene Stallings. I'm not hiring Danny Ford. I'm not hiring, I'm not hiring Clive Snetterberger. Those three of them he named. I said, really? He said, I'm hiring Bill Curry. Now, the reason he did that, now Bill Curry is going to really interview well. I know y'all y'all saying interview doesn't win games, but I'm just giving you the reason that he did it.
Sure.
It was his doings. He decided that he thought that Bill Curry in his interview did the best job. He knew the other people, and he wanted. And what happened? Ray and the president were at odds about getting an indoor facility, and so he wanted to get somebody that hadn't been associated with basketball, wouldn't wear him out about trying to get an indoor facility. So that's the reason that's one of the reasons he got Bill Curry. I talked to Bill all the time, and that was the president's idea of what he wanted to do. And so all Bill Curry did was interview and walk out. The problem that he didn't realize, and it is a problem, and I would agree that while he was playing and coaching, he never beat Auburn. The president, I'm telling you guys stuff nobody's ever heard. When you don't beat Auburn, you're no good in the eyes of Alabama people, and the president did not realize it. And when Joab decided that's what he wanted to do, that's what he did. And then he told me who he might hire. He might hire Steve as athletic director. And I just happened to hear all that Sunday morning, and I kept it, I kept my mouth shut in case it changed. But Bill was a really, really good person. Was he the best football coach Alabama ever had? No. But Alabama went through some tough times, just like everybody goes through tough times. Sorry about that. I thought some people would like to hear it anyway.
No,
it was
it
good.
was fantastic. I did want to ask you, Coach, because we've been seeing what's been going on with down in Louisiana, and in your tenure at Alabama, whether it was something involving the University of Alabama or even Auburn, do you ever remember when the governor, I mean, I don't know if Folsom ever did it or anything like that, but I mean, did a governor ever invoke himself in Alabama or Auburn football
not to Coach
politics?
Bryant, no, not to Coach Bryant or the three coaches I was there. The one good thing you could do, you could lean on the governor and get him to call somebody or try to help, but the governor wasn't going to lean on you.
Right.
And what's happened to LSU? If you listen to this LSU goober talk, he couldn't be. He's terrible. I mean, he's a walking idiot. He doesn't know his butt from left field. And so when he decides he wants to get, when you make choices on athletic directors, you don't coaches. You're gonna make some mistakes. You just did. I guess they thought they made a mistake on me. Maybe they did. But the point is that you're gonna make some mistakes, and it's gonna come down hard on you. And listen to this to me. I said this before, but his record is 34-14. If he had been 34-14, which he was, and had the personality of Lane Kiffin, he'd kept the job. It was not a fit. It did not fit, and the just wasn't a fit. His personality was different, and he missed on him. He's hit on the women's basketball coaches, hit on baseball, and I want you two to tell me and tell our listeners. Do you feel like that LSU is going to be the kind of program that's going to compete for a national championship every 3 years? Many good teams, or is that going to happen? You're probably going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think so. Maybe just a little bit more of this needs to play out in the transfer portal era, Coach.
I think it's long. I don't think you can compete for a national championship. Now you talk about it, but competing to getting it down to the last vote or two. I don't think that's the easiest thing to do, y'all.
But don't you think, though, Coach, the expectation's realistic for LSU to be in the college football playoff at least once every 3 years? And so then you're in turn you're quote unquote competing for a national championship.
Now I do. I probably said it the wrong way, but you're right. I think they ought to be in the 18 most of the time, and the personality didn't fit. And so when he got leaned on by the words that the governor said, he checked his buyout too. And I don't know. You can say, well, he was fired. Well, you can say whatever you want to say. He got 6.4, and so he got out of there and let somebody else do it. It's not, I had thought in trying to figure out blue plates and that kind of crap that it's going to be interesting that LSU would come in all fired up, ready to play. But the offensive coordinator has been dismissed, which is not good, regardless whether he's good or bad. It's not good. And the head coach has been dismissed. The athletic director doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't know whether they're going to come in ready to play or not. And that's something that gamblers try to figure out. As both of you know, I can't gamble very well. I'm not picking that game. But I don't know whether they'll be ready to play or not. It's going to be interesting to see. Alabama's got to be ready to play that, I think.
Coach, you give us really good nuggets. Kind of take us behind the scenes because I asked you about the Auburn situation last week, and folks that swing a big stick.
Yeah, I do.
What's going on?
They've got two groups there that kind of look at it. When they hired the liberal president some years ago, and for some reason the athletic director hired a guy, the football coach didn't know nothing. The two committees went along with it. What's the guy, Harsin, the guy that's so bad?
Yeah, are you talking about the AD Green, or are we going? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just screwed everything up. So you've got money people on both sides, and you have two groups. And if the two groups can get together, they can pretty much get who. The problem that you're having now is that who do you get? Who do you get? And I can tell you, I'm not going to answer it any further than this. They're not going to get Lane Kiffin. Okay.
Right.
I'll give you that.
We believe you too.
I told you last week that Lane Kiffin was not going to take the Florida job.
Right.
And he's not going to take it, just like I said. So I think that the problem that they have, and you guys are very good at it, knowing who gets open and who's not, but is getting a halfway named coach that people will try to get their players to come and play for them. There are not that many in there. We have gone through periods of time when I was going through assistant coach and all that. A lot of assistant coaches in basketball and football got jobs. It's stopped now. They're all everybody. They're scared. They're more of them are hiring head coaches with names than they ever have. And what you two need to do is sit down and leave Lane Kiffin out of it. I've told you the truth there, right. And see who Auburn are they going to change? Did that job make it? I think a lot of that. I'm just jumping around on you. That's the way I do. A lot of that depends on the Vanderbilt game.
Okay.
I think the Vanderbilt game is
Yeah.
a booger bear.
Yeah.
I just do because Vanderbilt, good team, no name. And when you play good team, no name, it's a booger bear game. I started to pick that as my blue plate. I didn't, but I came close to it. It's 3 points, I think. But when sometimes it's hard to get your teams ready to play when they feel like that, they're not as good. They say they're good, but they're not. You got to be ready to play them. I heard y'all yesterday, and y'all were pretty, not vicious, but pretty much upfront about the Auburn situation.
Coach, can you hang on through the break?
Yeah, if you want me to, I'll be glad to.
That'd be great
because y'all keep that long.
Oh no, we want this is going to be
merrier.
this is going to be good. I want to get into this. Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks, as we continue the Friday edition of Three Man Front. 10:49, three-man front on this Friday. We continue, as you hear it there, our conversation with the coach, Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. All right, Coach, you were about to waylay me and Pat because you thought we were unfair.
I don't know. Y'all okay. I mean, y'all were busting pretty good, but the problem that you have is that you can't make bad selections. You want to compare the selection that they made at quarterback at Auburn versus the selection that Ole Miss made by Division II player at quarterback. Ain't no contest. They made the best selection of a quarterback. You carry that all the way to the NFL, and the NFL misses all the cotton picking time. And that was they felt like that Oklahoma had all their players hurt is the reason he didn't. And he's a nice kid, I think. And I don't get on radio shows and cut up people, but I think that they just made a bad choice there. And I don't know. I had thought maybe that the win over Arkansas was going to pull everything out. I don't know whether it will or not. I don't know. I think Vanderbilt's big. Naturally, Alabama. If Alabama beats you, maybe Alabama's expected to beat you. I don't know, but Vanderbilt is in everybody's mind. The name is no good. So that's what makes it hard. As far as there might. I'm just going to tell you stuff I think. Okay. I don't nothing. Okay, right. So there might be. What's the defensive coordinator's name at Georgia?
Glenn Schumann.
Everybody, huh?
Schumann.
One everybody likes so much.
Yeah, Glenn Schumann.
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Florida.
Okay.
I'm probably wrong, but I wouldn't surprise me if he did. I don't know that he's going, so don't say Wimp said that. I don't know that he's going, but that would be where an assistant took a head job. Lane Kiffin is going nowhere. Lane doesn't particularly care about money, particularly now that he's got family and everything there. And,
right.
And the reason I was telling you all that is that his recruiting is not having to run in there and see mamas, because the general manager comes into Lane and says, Joe Blow's over here. We can get him. If you go over there and talk to him, we can get him. And he's a great player. So he goes over there and talks to him. He gets him. That's the way he'd rather recruit. He don't want to go in and shoot with the families and eat turkey. So that's the kind of job that he likes. The Florida job, guys, is big in name, but maybe not so big in outside of Steve Spurrier. Not quite as great as you think it is.
Yep.
It's a good job, but it's not quite as good as you think it is. One reason everybody in America comes in there. You can go into South Florida and you can get a lot of players, and you can get some in North Florida too. But the weather will help a little bit if you're a baseball player. So I think the Florida job sometimes is overhyped. Do y'all disagree?
Yes. No, we agree. We said that it might have been a bigger job. Well, it was before NIL and the transfer portal. But you're right. It's more about, I think, name and helmet and where you are. Yeah. But look, Coach, you can win anywhere. Lane's proven it. Yeah. Kurt Signetti's proving it. Clark Lee's proving it in Nashville. If you got the right combination. Yeah. All right, so you were naming just what you thought, nothing that you've heard. Throw out, same type scenario for Auburn. Let's just say they go ahead and they get rid of Hugh Freeze. Throw out I could see this guy.
If I had to guess, I would say the coach from Tulane.
Okay.
That's who I would guess.
All right.
But I don't know that.
I would guess that
no
too.
Idea. Y'all would?
Yeah,
okay.
I would.
Okay. We like him.
I don't know if that. I don't know that would happen or not.
I would vote for John Summerall.
Tulane, LSU would look down their nose to hire somebody there at Tulane, from Tulane. They look down their nose at that. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised with the guy from Tulane there at Auburn, and it's now the other factor too.
Coach,
you think about
we're
big
so
plays.
short on time. We got to have a blue plate.
Okay. Blue plate.
I love you.
Is going to be the University of Georgia over Florida.
Okay,
Ooh,
7.5. You like 7.5 in the bull pups.
7.5. And Crane Works makes for this show. I appreciate Crane Works doing so. Appreciate you guys. Nothing's better than Crane Works. They do a terrific job. Go all over the country. They build it, they tear it down. Rental Works, Waste Works. I guess it's Waste Works when I talk. But anyway, appreciate you. Appreciate you
So,
talking.
Coach,
talking
just to
me.
clarify,
Yeah.
Georgia beats Florida. After the game, their defense coordinator, Glenn Schumann, puts on a Gators hat and accepts the job. That's what you told us.
Yeah, I can tell you that. But,
No, you didn't.
But you can say, I don't give a shit what you say.
Oh, Coach. All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
we love you, Coach. Bye.
Bye.
Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Crane Works on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. National treasure, Wimp Sanderson.
Absolutely.
Love that, man.
We were vicious yesterday, according to Coach.
I didn't know where he was going with that. Like, what? Were we unfair? No, we've been
I
unfair
thought it was a
at
really
times,
good conversation about Auburn football.
but it's always well-intended.
Yeah.
So close.
Ah, crap.
Oh.
Been better if he'd have said that.
Well, he told us what he thought.
They did.
He just really doesn't care what you and I think or say.
Oh, we learned a lot in that interview.
Yeah, that's fine.
At this point, what? It's like he said. What are they going to do?
Hayes in the barn.
That's exactly right. Mike Rodak, next.